time. I will call the Southbury Town Meeting, March 16th, 2023, at 7 p.m. First, I would ask for nomination from the floor for a moderator.
I nominate Bonnie Rado.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, Bonnie Rado will be the moderator.
Would the clerk please read the warrant?
Okay.
Would the clerk please read the warning of the meeting?
Notice and warning, special town meeting, Town of Southbury, March 16th, 2023, 7 p.m. Notice is hereby given to the electors of the Town of Southbury and those qualified to vote at a town meeting that a special town meeting will be held on Thursday, March 16th, 2023 at 7 p.m. in room 205 of the Southbury Town Hall to consider the following. 1. A proposal to reallocate the appropriation of $2.1 million, which was assigned for the purchase of Edgewood Bath and Tennis Club, to the Ballantyne's Pool Project. 2. A proposal to authorize an expenditure of $170,000 for bids and specifications for the Ballantyne Pool Project. 5% of the estimated cost, $3.4 million for the project. Jeffrey A. Manville, First Selectman. Justin Betty, Selectman. Jason Bucksbaum, Selectman. John Deal, Selectman. Gregory Kuhn, Selectman. Holly Sullivan, Selectman. Dated at Southbury, Connecticut, this 8th day of March 2023.
Would the first selectman please read the resolution?
Special town meeting, Town of Southbury, March 16th, 7 p.m., room 205, Southbury Town Hall. 1, resolved that upon the recommendation of the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen, this town meeting hereby approves reallocating the appropriation of $2.1 million which was assigned for the purchase of Edgewood Bath and Tennis Club to the Ballantyne Pool Project. Number 2, resolved that upon the recommendation of the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen, this town meeting hereby authorizes an expenditure of $170,000 for bids and specifications for the Ballantyne Pool Project, which is 5% of an estimated cost of $3.4 million for the project.
Is there a second for the resolution?
A second.
Does anyone want to speak for or against the motion? Please come up and state your name and address for the record.
And if it's turned green, push the button. Is it red? I think it's red. Push it for green.
Thank you. Ed Edelson, 609B Heritage Village. I guess I will be speaking in favor of the resolutions, and most specifically about Part 2, because I think this is the right way that you go about spending large sums of money in this town. When we approached the prior meeting, I guess it's almost 4 years ago, regarding Edgewood, we did not go out and look for bids. We did not look for alternatives. We felt there was only one decision to be made, whether or not to go forward with Ballantyne Pool. And basically what I think is so important is that we have a fiscal policy here that says when we make large expenditures, we do go out for multiple bids and we look at alternatives. That's the proper way to do things. What happened years ago was we decided to I should say the Board of Finance basically said they would make an exception to their own policy. It's about time that we do things the way we said we're going to do them. So, again, I'm in favor of both parts of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any comments to speak for or against the motion?
Hi, I'm Trish Stewart, 894 Peter Road. I am also in favor of both of these resolutions. In particular, I speak to Resolution 1. Nothing is more important than a community that actually has things for its people to do in its own town. To think about the historic nature of Ballantine Pool on land that was given to us from a family whose son died in World War II, and to know that people speak time and again about the need to have the history of Southbury valued. There are very few things that multiple generations of families have participated in Southbury. But Ballantine Pool swimming experiences are certainly one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the floor?
Hi, Chad Hodgnicki, 66 Short Rock Road. I'm a very big supporter of this. Thank you for mentioning the young man that died in World War II, because he left his, according to the sign, his records and books to the town, so we would have somewhat of a civilized society. Having a town pool is, you don't have to have it, but it does make a more civilized society. That last summer when I was swimming in the town pool, I saw children enjoying themselves, having fun. Not everybody owns a private pool. Not everybody joins a country club or can afford a gym. So it's such an affordable luxury, and we've had it since the 1970s. And I think that in the 1970s, the town maybe didn't have the money we have now, but they found a way to do it. So I'm so glad that this motion is coming forward, and I fully support it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah Brody, 218B Heritage Village. I actually want to give a thanks to Trish Stewart for mentioning the provenance of this pool. I actually didn't know that, and I'm grateful to learn that. I grew up in Newtown, and we had a town park, and I spent a lot of my misspent youth at that town pool, and I have very strong sort of memory and sentimental feelings about how important it is to have a resource like that, or like our Ballantine Pool right here in town, where kids in the town, they can gather there, they can have fun, they can do recreation, have, swimming classes and things like that, and be together and have a sense of, I'm from Southbury, and this is my place, and these are my people. So that's very sentimental and important to me. And I just want to mention as a side note, my daughter lives very far away, but she does like to swim. And when she comes here, I do take her to Ballantine, and she has loved it too. So I'm very grateful that our town has that resource that I can, invite my daughter to come and enjoy as well. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I'm really not supposed to be sure the moderator does. I'm sorry. Sorry, my mistake.
It's okay. Go ahead. You can.
They'll hear you.
You can do it. Say what you were going to say. You have to now. You're up here.
Can you do it?
Okay, this is my daughter, Rose Keenan. She was very brave a minute ago. We're at 975 Peter Road, and she just wanted to say how important the pool is to kids. It's where she and my son learn to swim. It's a huge part of what we do as a family, and we look forward to the town taking care of it. Is that about right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Karen Fildes, 152 Rocky Mountain Road. I am speaking in favor of this resolution. I have not been to the Ballantine Pool since I was a teenager. So I am one of the taxpayers in town that do not utilize the pool itself. However, I am a very strong proponent of making sure that we keep this in the town of Southbury. And I was very upset when I first heard about the whole Edgewood thing, because I cannot imagine us purchasing an asset like this in another town. So speaking from a taxpayer who does not even use the Ballantine Pool, I am very strongly in favor of making sure that we continue to maintain this for our community.
Thank you.
Is it this one? Oh, it's a green. So, as a, well, 63 Bridiani, Max Perella, I like to swim, and I like to have money in my pocket, and I don't like to have membership free. So, and also I don't like driving like 25 minutes to another pool. So, keep Valentine.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the floor? Hearing none, can we please take a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second? Second.
Second. Meeting is now adjourned at 7:11 PM.
Thank you.
What? Okay. Everybody? Okay, no problem. All right, we've got other business. Okay. I will call to order the Southbury regular meeting, Board of Selectmen, March 16th, 2023 at 7:12. Can we have the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First up, we have public comments limited to 2 minutes. If there's any public comment, will you come to the podium and state your name and make the public comment?
Hi, Michael Carrington, 76 Reservoir Road. 2 weeks ago, I spoke in favor of including a heating element in the Ballantine Pool rebuild project. I mentioned it would likely pay for itself in terms of pool memberships and interests, as well as Parks and Rec programming. Since my comment, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from folks who've told me that they would love to go to Ballantine with their families if it were heated, but currently they choose to go elsewhere because of that one issue. We know there's other options out there, and given that, I don't even know why we're considering building this without a heating element. I just don't think that makes sense. And to be clear, this isn't just based on my opinion. We had a survey that proved residents want and are willing to pay for a heated pool. And if you ask people who are actually planning to use the pool, I think that number would climb higher. And that's the thing, right? We just heard from people. We want people to enjoy our town pool, to love our town pool, to make those great Southbury memories. I said it last meeting, I'll say it again. If we're going to redo Ballantine, we should do it right. This makes sense financially, yes, but also recreationally. This is our only chance also, not just for current residents, but for future residents. Southbury deserves a town pool that we can be proud of for many, many decades to come. If the worry is a heater would be cost prohibitive, I would trust Parks and Recreation to figure it out. I'd be willing to pay a little more for pool access if there was a heating system, or we keep prices the same and hopefully get just new memberships to make up the difference. We'll figure it out together. And to be clear about the energy consumption, nobody's asking for a hot tub. Just a little more comfort, a little more peace of mind, a little more fun, even on a cloudy day. Time to act is now. As elected leaders, you have to think about the long-term benefits of this expenditure. I don't think we should be penny-wise and pound foolish. I know there's going to be a time crunch, there's going to be some give and take on the final design, but I don't think we should compromise on the heater. It's an essential feature in a modern pool. We're going to redo Ballantyne, and we just saw that, so that's great. So let's do this right. I'll keep advocating for this. Let's get the pool that all of Southbury deserves. Thank you very much.
Is there any other public comment?
Alan Mail, 39C, Heritage Village. About 6 months ago, the senior citizens at Heritage Village and throughout Southbury were led to believe that we would have a community resource officer appointed. And we have not seen or heard anything further about that. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the rest of our agenda. You have your Selectmen's report in front of you, along with a notice of a public hearing on March 20th, 2023. You have your reports. Next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Second, John, thank you. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, and it carries. Minutes, February 27th, 2023, budget meeting. Do you want to take these all together? Is that all right?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of February 27th, March 2nd, joint meeting with the Board of Finance, and March 2nd, regular meeting.
Do I have a second on that, Justin?
I'll second, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? And that carries. Unfinished business is the pool. It'll stay on our for Selectmen's, or on our agenda till we get some design features. I would just ask the board to really take a look at the good, better, best, and we'll discuss at some point when we get the pricing back from the architects, a little closer pricing, and we can consider which way we're going to go, including the heating element, once we get pricing back and see what those numbers look like. Is there anything else on the pool? Holly?
Right?
Did we get the understanding of the cost of maintenance and operation of a heating element?
I think that's one of the things we're going to have to work on, a cost of maintaining the heating.
The heating in
Yes.
particular? Because I think we did get a number in the last meeting, but we weren't completely confident in that number.
Yeah, if anybody's heated a pool,
It seemed a little low.
yeah. I'll have Dan reach out and. There-
Thank you.
Jason?
And then but on that topic, as I understand it, I believe that we're gonna, when they put the bid specs together, that's gonna be included in some way as an add-on package or something.
They're gonna spec it out as, with the connections for the heating element, and then the heating element will be an option if the board decides to put it on.
So in other words, the design of the pool will be, it's like designing your house for central air from the beginning, but not putting the compressors in until a later time. Everything will be ready, wired, ready to connect. And if it's decided not to put them in at this time, I'm not saying that's the case. I can be clear for the record. I'm not saying that's the case, but it will be, everything will be in place so that, because it's easier just to put the stuff in place now. It's not that much money to make all that part of it together and make it so it's integrated into the system should that design. And it could be that there's contingencies or whatever. There's a lot to go forward on this yet. But everything will be in place where we won't have to replumb, complete, or rewire, get a fuel source. It'll be all designed in. All right?
So my other question was, so tonight's meeting, we sort of got part of the way there on what we're doing with respect to pool funding. The next step is the referendum in May. And I'm just curious what our timing is for our board to have to approve a resolution for that ballot, if we know at this point.
Dan, you've been working on that timing because it's been fluctuating a little bit, but we have to get the bid specs out.
The bid specs are gonna go out, we should have.
Dan, could you,
Oh, sure.
just so,
So I believe the bid specs, are gonna go out, and we should have those back in 45 days. Then we're gonna go out to bid. The question to be prepared for the ballot has to be presented to the town clerk, I believe, 30 days before May 3rd or May 2nd, the date of our referendum vote.
So at like one of our next two meetings, because there's going to be a bonding resolution, right?
There will be a bonding resolution, yes.
And we may need to factor in a town meeting for that
Yep.
as well. So I just want to make sure it's on our radar for like our next meeting.
Yeah, we
It's
have
gonna
the bond
get emailed.
council's actually preparing the resolution for the bond, so we should have that back hopefully by your next meeting.
and again, the part of this is the specifications and the bid specs and the pricing. Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else on the pool? Okay. Any new business? I don't see any. First Selectmen's report. Eversource's storm responses. Southbury Emergency Management Director Steve Team to discuss the concerns we had regarding the response to Storm Elliott in December of last year and some others. Eversource has reported that their municipal hub went down during that storm. I don't think it was fully, I don't want to say tested, but exercised in the storm, and went down, which provided one of their biggest challenges. They've informed us that they have been reviewing the statewide issues they had in order to provide better customer service during the power outages and in the future. We emphasized to them the importance of restoring our community's power in a timely fashion. We'll continue to work with Eversource Management to ensure this occurs. The problem with that was during the opening of our emergency management, and we've had this, it's just not working well. And we're as frustrated as the public when it comes to not knowing when power will be restored, getting a hold of a representative from Eversource, and hopefully getting a little more worked out on that. I'm pretty confident they will do that. Frankly, this has been a frustrating situation that has gone on for quite a while, right from storm. The tornado was the first experience, but be that as it may, we're trying to make progress. On March 10th, it was my honor to present to the Anti-Defamation League Connecticut Director Stacy Sobel and State Senator Eric Berthel with a certificate of recognition for their efforts in providing updated facts, information, and education about anti-Semitism in Connecticut and across the country. And in a time when anti-Semitism, prejudice, and hate crimes amongst so many groups continues to escalate, I urge people to support their efforts and to secure justice and fair treatment. If there's something you come across to the public or you see, it seems to be somewhat of a challenge to get people to actually report and say something. And there are avenues to do that, so please don't be afraid and actually report these incidents. Our Public Works Management team has been working hard to get out invitations for bid and requests for proposals for upcoming projects. For a full list of the invitations and the RFPs Public Works has posted, please go to the procurement and bidding page on the town's website. Southbury Civic Day, the town's 350th anniversary committee held a very successful Civic Day event at Town Hall this past Saturday. The event was the idea of committee member and retired town clerk Lynn Dwyer. Many thanks to all the volunteers and staff who made the day such a big success. Lynn and John Dwyer, our town historian, gave a very educational presentation on some of the challenges Southbury's government faced during significant events throughout history. In my presentation, I focused on the experience governing through the more recent challenges of a tornado and COVID-19. I do know there's some board members with us still that were involved in all of that, and I'm sure you'll agree it was these have been a heck of a challenge, those two events. And of course, we had special guest artist David Merrill, who painted the beautiful mural in Town Hall and provided a tour and discussion of his work. This popular event had so much positive feedback that we are going to consider hosting it annually. If you were not able to attend, I highly recommend you view the recording on YouTube, and the video and photo links from all the 350th anniversary events can be found on the 350th events page on the town website. And I was quite taken back by the amount of people that attended. And I was impressed with the amount of people that came for this town meeting. We all know that we don't always get that attendance, but that people were quite interested, and they also found the vault interesting. And something that was interesting is someone said, well, where's the artifacts? And I don't know what people are looking for in artifacts, but those documents that exist
Are the artifacts.
are truly artifacts. I would caution, I don't invite people to, they can see them, but would reserve we should be very careful touching them and handling them. But they go back to the 1700s. They are truly artifacts that exist in our town hall. And if, you know, there's many names, and it is interesting. So it was interesting people saw the vault as like some kind of a secret thing. But the public is welcome to come to the vault if they should want to see something in there or research. More news, the next events for the 350th anniversary will take place on March 25th at the Southbury Public Library. A new workshop called Introduction to Creating a 350th Celebration Quilt Block has been added to the program and will take place at 10 a.m. You know, and I'll remind everybody, there's a beautiful quilt over here that hangs that was made quite a while ago, and it'd be nice to have another quilt hung someplace recording this event. And there will be a history talk on the topic of the Irish in Southbury. I probably brought a Irish young lady to Southbury from Oxford. And we'll begin at 1 p.m. and both programs require registration if you could. New job opportunity was recently posted. The town is accepting applications for a floater administrative assistant. The deadline for receiving applications is March 28th. For details about that position, please go to our website's homepage and click on the employment opportunity link. If anybody hears this, something I want to stress about that, I never really understood the importance and how valuable a floater is in connecting all the different departments. We talk about silos that were there. You may not be in every department, but you bring that understanding to the next department you work in. It helps manage and keep, when people are on vacation and FMLA and everything, these departments up and running. But many of our floaters have found departments that they liked working in. And then when those jobs opened up, they went to work in that department. And some people have expressed to me about the admin, it seemed like you didn't really have a job or you really weren't part of something. That's a misconception. You're part of something that in totality is much, much larger than and important to all of our departments. So I hope applicants understand that, and it's not just I don't have a home type of job. You do have a home, and it works out quite well. Finally, one thing I'd like to say something about is Public Works has been doing a lot of great work. The weather's been holding for us. I did notice, I don't really know if they're at the other parks, Seaman Park is being graded up, parking lot compacted. They're getting our different facilities in shape. They have limited resources if it was snowing and all day and we had a normal winter. But they have been catching up on a lot of things and making improvements, which shout out to, they've been pretty active, productively active. There's a difference between just being busy and being productively active, and they're doing a great job, and our Public Works Director has really done a good job of keeping very much a team experience in there, so I'm pretty happy about that. All right, Selectman Betty.
Economic Development Commission met last night. Kevin Bielmeyer updated us on a lot of things that he's working on. As we talked about at the last meeting, they had the open house for Guyer 9, our new company that's at Romatic, and Kevin is of the opinion that it is one of the best attended open houses he's seen anywhere in the state. There was a ton of people there. Kudos to Guyer 9 for organizing the event and their initial success, which obviously we hope continues. There was further discussion about the 350th. Civic Day was a resounding success as far as attendance. I was not able to be there physically. I have watched the video. Mr. Merrill is a fascinating presenter, so if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to do so. New businesses are coming to town. Some of them we've heard about. Monty's Pub, a little bit delayed due to various parts of building out a new restaurant, but on its way. Maybe not for March Madness, but soon enough. And that'll be in the old Chips location in Southbury, so that's exciting. Investment Portfolio Oversight Committee will not meet again until May 10th. The 350th Commission, Jeff already touched on. We have 2 more events here in March. We have some interesting stuff coming up in April as well, so please keep tuned with the website. April's activities include Public Safety Day, as well as our annual Arbor Day celebration. So those are things to look forward to. And that's all I got.
Jason.
So the, excuse me, the library board met last week. The Friends of the Library are going to be having their annual book sale first weekend in May 4th to 7th, and their donation day for that is this Saturday from 10 to 3 at the library. So if anybody has books they want to donate, it's a good cause. They'll be collecting books at the library this weekend. The board, their tech committee, working on audio updates to the Kingsley Room. The board's continuing work on their strategic plan. They received a good response to the survey that went out, so thank you to everyone that participated, and they're collecting and reviewing and analyzing that data now. They are planning an open house on May 13th. There'll be more information to come on what's going to be entailed with that. And they also introduced, who was at the meeting, our newly hired head of youth services, Jennifer Kistner. So she talked a little bit about what she's doing in that department, and we look forward to working with her going forward. LEPC also met last week. Jeff talked a little bit about some stuff going on with the emergency management director. The other stuff he's working on is the state has sort of revamped the emergency operation plan template and protocols, so he's starting to work on rewriting that and working with our individual agencies on those processes. There was also a brief discussion about our Everbridge notification system and, the call that many of us may have received a couple weeks ago in the early hours of the day, and things that are being done to address that and sort of explain to people how you can change it in your system so that doesn't happen in the future. Just to be clear, though, that was not a call initiated by the town of Southbury, for anyone who received that. EMS committee meets next week. They've had there's been some shifting in that committee, a number of vacancies over the last number of months, but between our board meetings, I think 2 board meetings ago and tonight, I think we've now fully appointed almost a full membership and alternate panel on that committee, so I look forward to meeting with them next week. And the Police Study Committee continues to meet. We'll have our next meeting next week. We also had a very good meeting with East Lyme. I can't remember if that was since our last meeting or before our last meeting, but I thought that was a very productive meeting, and we're continuing those discussions and reviews. That's all I have.
John?
So the Conservation Commission meets next week, as does the Community Relations Task Force. Although a quick footnote on the Community Relations Task Force, tonight we, I guess you would say, seated our rising senior member, Gabby Leonardi. And yesterday, two of the members of the Community Relations Task Force met with Pastor Sean Garin from the UCC in Southbury, who has shown interest in forwarding a letter of intent to join the task force. So if we can get that done by next meeting and off to the Board of Selectmen in the following meeting, we would be fully seated on that task force. So looking forward to that. I know they all are. And I do apologize, but the Parks and Rec met a couple days ago, and I guess a room change. I was unable to find them, and I have not seen the minutes yet, so I will get that and bring it along next time.
Did they change rooms on you?
They changed room, apparently in the same building, but I didn't look hard enough.
Sure they're okay. Anything on the, Greg?
So this time around, Senior Services Commission met, and we went, continue to go through their strategic plan. This one was great. The folks that did the work on their programming section really did their due diligence and did some good benchmarking against Bethel, Brookfield, Middlebury, Middletown, Oxford, Seymour, and Shelton, looking at the different programs that they offer in each of those senior centers, came up with a list of 75 different activities that each of these centers has done. So the good news is they said a lot of the stuff we do, so that's always nice to know, and it's just a great starting point to work with our new director on offerings for the senior center. Senior Service Director's report, Andrea made note that numbers in terms of attendance looked great for February. Senior Center is starting to look at restarting their lunch program, which they're looking forward to. Lots of just really kind of the highlight for me was really this focus on programming there, which there just was lots of enthusiasm around it. And you look at some of the stuff that they're doing. Mahjong, I guess, is coming back. Andrea is actually doing an afternoon tea with Andrea Thursday, April 20th, that people can RSVP. Our First Selectman is doing coffee with the First Selectman, April 18th, as a monthly thing. They have all sorts of different programs. When you go and take a look at, I have a hot advanced copy of the April newsletter. There's all sorts of programs going on, and you can get that newsletter off the town website. Last on that is volunteer opportunities. Senior Services is always looking for volunteers. Today, they just had their St. Patrick's Day celebration, and thanks to the folks that help facilitate that. They have newsletter prep every month, usually the third week of the month, help putting together this newsletter. Bingo on Thursdays. Memorial Day, they have their annual picnic that's at Ballantyne Park, looking for volunteers. Lunches coming up that they're looking for volunteers. Reach out to the Senior Services Department for more information. That's what I got. Thanks.
Okay. Holly?
So the Board of Ed did meet on the 13th. Amazing. If you get a chance to watch the video, there was a student by the name of Aliza Creel who played the violin. It was just really nice to have an actual live performance from one of the students. So very cool to be able to see that, and if you couldn't be there in person, to see it via Zoom as I did. And recognition of the girls varsity swim team that they are state champions, so congratulations to them. The overwhelming theme of the meeting, though, is their bonding procedures. If anybody's not familiar, the Board of Ed Ed has some very large capital projects that they're looking to get done. Obviously, some facilities that need upgrading, not even upgrading, but just need maintenance and need repairs. So the most important takeaway from that is that there is a public hearing, and that public hearing is going to be on March 22nd with respect to the appropriation and borrowing authorization for various capital improvements and renovation. If anybody's interested in attending that, visit the Board of Ed website for March 22nd.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and it carries. Thank you.